Man, oh man. What a week. What a holiday. Thanksgiving is past us. Thanksgiving Day games are past us. Black Friday, the first ever Black Friday game is past us. And yeah, another week in the book. And we're going to talk about it. Let's get into it. What is up, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back to another edition of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. You know what time it is. It is time to review the NFL week number 12. Yes, the action just took place. Thanksgiving Day action. We had some holiday action. It went down. I mean, we had some good competition. We had some good matchups. We had some good outcomes. We had some bad outcomes. And then we had some little sprinkled everything mixed in between there. Some exciting games, some not exciting games. And that's why we're here. We're here to break it all down. So, without further ado, let's start the show. Welcome back. Welcome back to another edition of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. You know what time it is. It is time to review the NFL week number 12. All the good, all the bad, and all the ugly from last week in the NFL. And man, oh man, do I have a gripe to air out with our uglies. And we're definitely going to get into that. But as always, joining me to break it down, I am Jacob Cutler, one half of the Sports Guys, and he is the second half of the Sports Guys, one of my best friends, Mr. Brandon Sullivan. Brandon, how was your holiday? Glad you made it back. How you doing? How is everything going? What's going on?
Yeah, Jake, had a pretty good holiday. Obviously, spent it at grandma and grandpa, watched the game. Just, such an enjoyable game for us to watch together. So, unlike the last time we played on Thanksgiving where the Seahawks were eating the turkey on our field, like you said, we were texting back and forth, little redemption. And, just it was fun. It was fun. Watching the halftime show, I think it was during the Lions game, dedicated to John Madden. That was a good little skit they had there. And then obviously talking about the family and the live that he touched there. So, just a kind of a cool dedication to John Madden. Definitely one of the most iconic figures ever in NFL history. And my grandpa's actually a big fan of John Madden. So I just thought, just overall, good holiday, good food. How was your holiday? I know you had some ham.
Yeah, it was my holiday was good. Everything was nice and smooth over here. It was a good day, a lot of laughs, football being watched. We watched a lot of shows, some movies, hanging out. And then, basically, I'll be honest, the games on Thanksgiving were not good. I mean, if you were a fan of these teams that won, they were good for you. But as far as NFL common fans, yeah, these games were whack. So I'm very glad that the Niners were able to pull it out and get the job done. And we'll definitely divulge into that because, yes, revenge was had. Yes, revenge was had for Turkey on the 50 all those years ago. But before we dive right into it, let's quickly remind them how we did last week. Let's put it up on the screen. You're on a roll, my friend. You are on a roll for yourself. 10-6, 1-0 on your guaranteed victory. For myself, 8-8, 1-0 on my guaranteed victory. For Brandon, guaranteeing that the Niners were going to dominate the Seattle Seahawks, and that's exactly what they did. And then for me, the Cowboys, I mean, they're rolling. The Cowboys are the best regular season team I've ever seen, and that's basically where they stand. They're the Peyton Mannings of the regular season. So we all know what happens once they get in the playoffs. We all know what happens once what they do in the regular season never translates to the playoffs. So we'll see what happens for the Dallas Cowboys, but they definitely are a regular season team. Dak Prescott playing out of his mind right now. CeeDee Lamb playing out of his mind. We'll definitely divulge into that. But overall for the season, that puts us at For yourself, 117 and 63, 10 and 2 on your guaranteed victories. For myself, 104 and 76, 9 and 3 on my guaranteed victories. And then for our special guests, 52 and 38, 3 and 3 on their guaranteed victories. Everyone's doing pretty decent. You are rocking it this year. Rocking it very much. Let's see what happens next week. We got a lot of action to dive into next week. But before we do all that, let's wipe those off the screen because let's get into it. Let's see what we want to start with. Let's start on a good note. Give me your good. What good did you see from week 12?
Obviously, you already mentioned it, the Cowboys just absolutely destroying the Commanders. I just putting up 45 points and playing really well at home. So obviously I haven't seen them do that against any really good teams. So I want to see them do that against Philly. I want to see them, let's see what they do. I think they play Philly in a couple weeks. That'll be a big, suggestion of how good they actually are. So but obviously they have been beating the brakes off of a lot of teams. When they ran into the Niners, it wasn't so much, but give the Cowboys credit. Obviously the 49ers, just a very dominant performance. They had a little bit of a there in the third quarter, but Brock Purdy was able to drop a dime in between 4 defenders. And I know people are saying, oh, he was so wide open. It's like that wasn't supposed to happen. According to you, I kind of went back and looked. I guess you had mentioned that it wasn't even the play was designed for
a check down. It was a design check down.
Yeah. And Purdy did, if we had Jimmy Garoppolo, it would have been a check down.
Yep, exactly right.
Purdy is making plays to try to win the game. He's not winning game. He's not making plays to not lose.
Yeah.
If that makes sense,
he's taking risks. He's taking shots.
He's taking shots to try to win the game. So he's keeping his foot on the gas. And, just what I saw, in comparison to like Colin Kaepernick's of the world, to the Nick Mullins, to the Jimmy Garoppolos of the world, is Brock Purdy made a huge mistake in the third quarter, throwing a pick 6. He threw a pass a little bit too high for Christian McCaffrey. Brooks picked it off, and for Purdy to just shake that off and it doesn't even impact him at all, and just to make a throw like that and throw in between 4 defenders, it shows a lot about the confidence that Brock has. So
definitely
one of the very few people where I was like, I'm pump the brakes on Brock Purdy. You've been a believer all along, so I got to give you credit on that. You said this guy is the real deal. The 49ers are going to go far with this guy, and he's your franchise quarterback. You were dismissed Trey, so I got to give you credit on all that. You've been correct all along. So Brock is just as clutch as you pinned him after that. He came in that Dolphins game last year. So, kudos to the 49ers. Back to them eating, turkey, the good in that game. George Kittle sharing with the crowd.
Definitely.
All that part where he was throwing turkey legs into the stands in Seattle.
Nick Bosa doesn't eat meat.
He doesn't. He doesn't. No, he doesn't eat carbs. They were trying to give him.
Yeah, he doesn't eat carbs.
They were trying to give him cornbread. Yeah.
All meat.
Yeah.
All meat.
Yeah. So, and then you got Deebo Samuel throwing his turkey leg into the stands, and a guy eating just eating it right where Deebo Samuel didn't even flip the turkey.
Oh, dude, that was the worst. Yeah, that dude. That dude did not. Clearly, I don't think that dude has ever ate a chicken leg, turkey leg in his life. That dude was taking it, biting into the solid, hard side of the bone. Wasn't even biting into the meat.
So, just like you said, revenge. George Kittle said it the best. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else in the world than on Thanksgiving eating turkey legs in Seattle. So just a huge win for the 49ers. Just to kind of go through a couple of them quickly, the Dolphins, obviously, that pick 6 was insane at halftime. Just a complete 99-yard return for a pick 6 on a Hail Mary. I don't know if I've ever even seen that. That was pathetic. But the Dolphins looking real good. Mike McDaniel telling him, look who's, they're telling him, turn the heater off. And he said, I'm winning. I'm cold. I'm winning. So, and I'm also winning. So Mike McDaniel, I know a lot of people don't like his dry humor. He was with the 49ers, so I think he's funny. But, a lot of people don't like the guy. But, credit to the Dolphins destroying a divisional opponent. Um, Also, Falcons looking good. Division leaders at 5-6. I don't know if somebody's going to win that division at
Division
7-9, but
leaders.
7-10, is that going to be the amount of wins
Oh
that you
my
get in that crappy
God.
division? But Falcons looking decent in that game. They were able to put up almost a
Yeah.
10-point victory there. So
Yeah.
and then obviously I think there was a little bit more ugly and bad, but
Yeah.
obviously the Broncos on a 5 to 6 game winning streak. I think they're on a
Yep.
6-game winning streak with 6 wins in a row. I kind of felt like I didn't know that this was going to happen, but I thought that Sean Payton and Russell Wilson were going to connect at some point.
Yep.
I thought that that they're just Sean Payton's too good of a coach historically for them to just completely flounder. So credit to the Broncos for turning things around. And then last but not least, the Rams looking really, really good. So the Rams just absolutely destroying the Cardinals on the road, but the Rams are looking good, getting Cooper Kupp back. Aaron Donald's always dominant, but the Rams, I don't know, maybe a little dark horse, maybe watch out for them trying to battle for a wild card spot.
Yep.
Kind of flying under the radar there.
Yep. I like it. Cowboys keep rolling. Niners look like the most complete team in the NFL currently to date. All aspects of the ball, they are absolutely dominant. They have everything that you could possibly want in a team up and down that roster. So the Niners, at this point, my Bengals, unfortunately, done so. So yeah, we're rooting for the Niners hard here, and I definitely think that the Niners can do it. This is a big moment, and Brock Purdy, he does falter. He may slip. He may have some off games. He may not look his best, but I'll tell you what, when he comes back and he's ready to go, he's as good as any quarterback in the NFL. And it just goes to show that, it just goes to show that not any average Joe can step in and be a starting quarterback, a successful starting quarterback in the NFL. So what he's doing, you want to hate on him because he was the last draft pick in the NFL. All right, fine. In the NBA or in the NFL draft, okay, fine, you can. You want to hate on him because he went to Iowa State. You want to hate on him because he's a baby face, right? He doesn't look like your most marketable QB. The guy can straight up ball. The guy can straight up play quarterback. And guess what? He is leading his team to what I think is going to be the Super Bowl. So great
the
matchup.
Only time we lost 3 games without, and just to add, we lost 3 games, but we didn't have Debo and Trent Williams in those 3 games. So let's do that. And then also, just one more thing I wanted to add. He basically ruptured his elbow. And so
his UCL.
Let's not forget that this guy is still recovering, and he has his heating pad and things like that. It's incredible. I mean, his age, the ability hasn't, so I just, there's just a lot of things there.
He's playing tough. He is definitely playing tough. I'll give him that much. We'll see what happens. Niners, definitely, in my opinion, most complete team in the NFL. The Dolphins dominate in their victory against the New York Jets. The Jaguars, like I said, the season series is a split. No matter which way you split it, one team wins the first game, the other team's winning the next game. The Jags hold off the Texans' onslaught. The Texans just barrage, right? The Jags get the job done, get a massive victory there on the road there in Houston, and hold on to that number 1 seed or that number 1 position in the AFC South. Man, oh man, that division is going to be between the Texans. If this is not all show, if this isn't all flash in the pan, we'll see what happens next season. But the Texans, man, they're cooking. I can't believe it. I cannot believe that the Texans look like a team on the rise in the NFL. The Broncos turnaround, like you mentioned, is for real. Wowzers. They are blessed to have a very easy schedule to finish out their season. So I definitely do think that they will lock up a playoff spot here. How far they'll go in this playoffs, we shall see. But wow, the Denver Broncos now take over the hottest team in the NFL position, and they're definitely turning heads. What do we got here? The Rams, like you said, back in gear with Matt Stafford. Definitely a dark horse for that one of those playoff spots. The Chiefs roll the Raiders. No surprise after the Raiders had a 14-0 lead. Oh, Raiders. Ravens pull out a tough victory there on the road in Los Angeles to hold on to the number one spot in the AFC South. And I believe they are, I forget what seed they are, but I think they're top two. I think they're
number one.
The number one right now, right? Currently, yeah, number one seed. So Ravens, Baltimore Ravens, when healthy, you got to watch out for them. Number one seed currently. And then, yeah, that leads me into my last good, which is just the AFC playoff race. I mean, you think it's good right now. Buckle your seatbelt. We got 6 more weeks. It's going to heat up and get better. So we got everybody basically with 3 losses, right? The Jags, the Chiefs, the Ravens. Who else has 3 losses that is up there? Who am I missing? The Jags, right? Jags, Chiefs, Ravens, and then there's one other team who I can't think about right now for whatever reason because it's slipping my mind. But the Dolphins. Thank you. Those 1 through 4 spots, I mean, as competitive as they can be, as competitive as they have ever been. So are the Chiefs guaranteed that number 1 seed? Are the Chiefs guaranteed home field advantage through the playoffs? Not anymore. It doesn't seem like it. Definitely doesn't seem like it that way with how the way that these teams are playing, with the way that the schedule sets up to end the season, with the way that the schedule sets up throughout this entire season. The schedule, in my opinion, has definitely been one of the harder schedules in terms of competition that some of these teams have had to face in a very long time.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes has never played a playoff game on the road.
Exactly. And we could see it. We could see it. I mean, the Ravens could easily hold on to that number 1 seed. The Jags can move into that number 1 seed. The Dolphins could shock everybody and not choke and get the job done. And the Chiefs, I mean, the Chiefs, that's where they've lived. They've lived in that number 1 seed. So I would not be surprised if they locked it up. But at this point right now, it's anybody's ball game. It is anybody's number 1 seed to take. It's anybody playoff race in the AFC. And yeah, it's going to be exciting. It is going to be exciting. All right. The bad. Give it to me.
Lions 6 straight Thanksgiving losses at home. Unfortunate. I was pulling for the Lions just because they're having just this Cinderella season, and I was hoping that those fans would get a win, but Jordan Love and the Packers had a different answer for that. So
they did.
It's unfortunate. The Lions, and it's any given Sunday, any given Thursday, any given Monday, any given Friday. Any team can come out and win, and it's just like that in the NBA. It's any given night. I've seen the Pistons come out and destroy the Celtics, and I've just seen crazy. So, it's always a toss-up with the divisional, but Lions did not look very good.
No, they did not.
Turnovers.
They did not.
They definitely didn't look good. Jets looking bad, obviously, per usual, so that's not anything new. Saints, 5 field goals, I think 5 or 6 red zone, or Derek Carr just can't get it into the end zone. So I don't know what's going on there with them, but that was just a bad performance. Looking at it, just I don't know what's going on over there. I really don't with the Saints. I thought that they were gonna win that division, so now I'm not so sure.
Right? Yeah, I hear you.
The Falcons are starting to turn a corner a little bit in that division. We'll have to see what they're gonna do. Chargers, Brandon Staley, you gotta go. I just can't believe that this guy is
out of here.
Be coach. I don't understand it. I really don't get what is going on. I was gonna put this in the ugly, but I'll just say bad. The Vikings Bears game, it was a very bad game. It was close to being ugly.
Terrible game.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't know how you lose to somebody. I don't get it. 4 field goals. I just don't understand it. That's a typical division game, but credit to Justin Fields for making a couple passes at the end of the game and putting his team in a position to win, because that was looking like it was a dagger from Dobbs to Hawkinson there at the end. I thought that that was going to be enough, but the Bears they weren't the Bears on on Monday night on that drive, and they actually, looked like a good team on that final drive. So those were some of my bads there.
Yeah, I mean, I echo everything that you've just said, right? The Lions dropping the ball at home on Thanksgiving, just playing horribly, right? Scoring with 41 seconds left really didn't mean much. Kind of definitely a garbage touchdown. Honestly, we could really wipe it off the board. They did lose 29 to what is that? 15. Yeah, I mean that 22 points. Okay, cool. That's 7 points there at the end of the game. Cool. But the Lions, that's what I'm talking about. That's a statement game. You got to win these games, man. The Jags have seemed to turn the corner this year with when they come up against these statement games, they're winning them. They're doing what they need to do, right? They did falter against the Niners. Okay, I'll give them that. They did falter against the Texans. It happens. I give them that. But look, these other statement games, these games that traditionally you would back the Jaguars, they would go in there and they would get boat raced by the other team. They're going in there and they're saying, no, you can put our confidence in us. We're going to get the job done. So we'll see what happens going into the end of the season. But yeah, I mean, the Lions, man, you got to win these statement games. You can't just let these games slip away, especially with how tight the NFC, the top, I should say, the top of the NFC playoff races right now between 1, 2, and 3. You cannot be dropping these games. You just can't, especially with the Eagles. Unfortunately, the Bills didn't get it done. So, the Eagles keep on winning. Hopefully the Niners, it's on to the Niners now to knock it down. So we'll see what happens there. Lions, yeah, not looking good at all on Thanksgiving. The Bengals running the ball 8 times with a backup quarterback. What are we doing? Joe Mixon should have had 1,000 carries. He should have broke the all-time single game carries record in that game. There should have been no reason why Jake Browning was throwing the ball that much. He started off good. We got a good opening drive. But as you start to see him taper off, lean on the running game. Lean on Joe Mixon. That's why you have him. That's why you invested all this money in the line. Lean on your talent. You're not leaning on a backup quarterback. You expect this guy to be Joe Burrow. It's not going to happen. So, yeah, Bengals, unfortunately, for my squad, I'm going to obviously keep rooting for them. But at this point, I would love a high draft pick. I would love some top-tier talent in the wake of possibly losing some of our O-linemen and some of our receivers. So we'll see what happens with the Bengals. But, yeah, I was not particularly too thrilled with that performance from Jake Browning. Derek Carr. Yeah, that's all I have to say. A part of my bad. Derek Carr, just bad. The Raiders, just bad. And then Buffalo is just weirdly not good. The Buffalo Bills are just a weirdly not good team. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know any other way to really talk about it, but they're just weirdly not good. Yeah, I mean, that's essentially what I boiled it down to. And, you want to throw another team in there? The Chargers. The Chargers are just weirdly not good. They have all the talent in the world. And here's the thing. You look at Zach Taylor's record without Joe Burrow, and I think it's like 4-28-1 or something like that. And then, you got Joe Burrow, who obviously covers up every single hole that the team has. Justin Herbert, that's all. No knock against Justin Herbert, but it's just levels. There's just levels to being a quarterback in the league. And Justin Herbert is a great athletic quarterback. No doubt about it. He can get the job done. He just, for whatever reason, he doesn't have the ability to take himself to the next level that would then raise his entire team to the next level. He then relies on Brandon Staley.
That has to do with boys too. I mean, Joe Burrow is an amazing quarterback. One of the best I've ever seen in my life. And I've always said that you guys are winning a Super Bowl. I don't give a shit when it is. I've always said that the Bengals are winning a Super Bowl as long as you can protect Joe and he doesn't get hurt. But that's the difference. I can't say that about Justin Herbert. I'm extremely confident that in his career, Joe Burrow will win a Super Bowl for the Bengals. Extremely confident.
Yeah.
I can't even come close to touching that with Herbert. And that's the difference.
Yep. Yeah, and that's the thing though. Like you said, leadership and poise, right? He leaves it in the hands of Brandon Staley, and Brandon Staley has already proven that he does not have what it takes. He's calling these great plays with Keenan Allen catching the ball and then passing the ball to Austin Eckler on 3rd and 17. Genius play. Literally a genius play that I don't understand why offenses do not implicate more. It's a genius play. It's almost unstoppable if you call it right and you set it up right. But then you go later on in the games and he just makes stupid defensive calls because he's running the defense now. So he makes stupid defensive calls. He cannot, for whatever reason, they're inept on offense with having Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler, all these weapons. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. So the Chargers, just another team that is just weirdly not good. And then the last thing is the Vikings, right? The Pastronaut going to the astronaut. I think the sun has set on the Josh Dobbs experiment. Unfortunately, I think as the tape is coming out about him, I think teams are starting to easily able to scheme against it and kind of figure out what they're doing. Vikings could have a tough.
I kind of called that, Jake. Called that, Jake.
You did.
It was going to come to. I didn't want it to because I liked it. I mean, but I just kind of felt it, man.
You did. You definitely did. So Vikings slipping. We'll see what happens. Yeah. And then last but not least, what ugly do you got for me? Because I got some good ones for you.
Seattle Seahawks. They look terrible. They look awful. They were like deer in headlights. I know that there was a little bit of a drop off there in the third quarter for us, but this is not the old 49ers team. We are not scared of the Seahawks at all.
Yeah.
We delivered 31-13. The game honestly should have been 31-3. That opening kickoff return, that was obnoxious. That shouldn't have happened. They wouldn't even. And then the pick six, it was just an ill-advised throw. You're forcing something because you think you might you're in the end zone. It should. The defense essentially gave up 3 points. I mean, the Seattle Seahawks at home, that's pathetic. I'm just saying, honestly, that's one of the worst performances I've seen from Seattle, and there's no excuses. You have all these corners that you're paying. You have Bobby Wagner, who's an all-pro linebacker. I know he's not the same, but he's still really good. You have a pretty good defensive line. You're missing, PJ Walker, but I'm just saying you do have DK Metcalf and Doug Baldwin, and you know what I'm saying? So, or Lockett, they're the same. But anyways, you have these different people, 31, it's just embarrassing to get embarrassed like that on your home field. So that felt great, but Seattle, you look awful. And then obviously the Panthers are just, it's just, they're pathetic. Bryce Young is terrible. So just a horrible thing. Keep drafting Alabama quarterbacks, everybody. Keep doing it because I don't think, Jalen Hurts technically is Oklahoma because that's where he came out of. That was his last thing. So, but my thing is keep drafting those Alabama quarterbacks because I don't care who it is. I don't think that, you're winning a Super Bowl with an Alabama quarterback. So, you basically are giving the Bears your number 1 pick. So it's like you mortgaged your future for Bryce Young, dude. And here's the thing. You could say it's his first season, right? You could say he's a rookie. You either have it or you don't. I don't know. Dude doesn't have it. So ugly, Bryce Young, ugly. And I'm sure that you were going to touch on this. You can go ahead and touch back on it. Patriots, Giants. Thank God it ended when it did.
I actually wasn't because I honestly I feel bad for Mac Jones, man. This dude is his confidence is just. I watched a clip of basically his recent interviews, dude, and it's depressing. This guy is so defeated. So yeah, I feel bad, but yeah, no, go ahead.
No,
go ahead.
I don't feel bad for him. I think the guy's a pompous, arrogant prick.
Yeah,
I never liked him. He's partying the club, throwing toe and tens, thinking he's so good when he's got the best receiving core of all time, when he's got the best O-line of all time, when he has Najee Harris as his running back, Nick Saban as his coach, and he's playing Mercer every week. I have no respect for a team that plays Mercer every week. So anyways, Mac Jones, garbage. Thank God that game ended.
Yeah,
Thank God the
that's true.
Patriots missed the field goal and it didn't go to overtime, so we didn't have to be tortured any further, and they didn't have to show that on Red Zone anymore.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. I'm actually glad the Giants won on that one, because here's the thing. I don't mind the Patriots. I just cannot stand Mac Jones. So we need him gone.
Yeah.
And then obviously, I'm just going to say it. Bills in clutch time. Ugly. 0-6 in overtime for Josh Allen. They changed the rule book for you,
after the
and
rule
you
change.
still are 0-6 in overtime. And here's the thing. It's like you're a deer in headlights in overtime. I don't get it. I don't understand Gabriel Davis, or the miscommunication where you could have easily put the Eagles away. You could have easily put them away. Their gimmicks are gonna see when you're playing with luck and you're constantly playing with fire, you're eventually gonna get burned, Eagles. So your wins have been very ugly. You're due for a loss. It may be this week, it may be next week, but eventually, when you're playing with fire constantly and you aren't, and you're having to constantly, eventually luck is not going to be on your side. So that's why you got to have some wins where it's comparable, like the Cowboys and the Niners and the Jaguars, or else you're going to get burned if you keep playing with flames. And then, obviously we already touched on it. Brandon Staley, I'm going to upgrade it from bad to ugly. Dude is just a terrible coach. Yeah. Go back to Division III or wherever you were. You're horrible. You're an arrogant prick. You need to be fired.
Yeah.
You need to also get stocked up. Like, somebody needs to just punch you right across the chops. And so I don't understand what the Chargers are doing, why I haven't seen that notification come through on Bleacher Report yet that he has been fired, but I just think that he is an awful coach, and they are literally wasting Justin Herbert's career in the last years of Keenan Allen.
I agree. I like it all. I just have three. For everybody. Number one, I'm smiling because I'm excited to announce this. The Panthers. The Panthers are just a dumpster fire of a franchise at this point. Wait. Did I say dumpster fire? Yeah. I would like to introduce you to the new Carolina dumpster fire Panthers. Yes. After atrocious QB play, GM ability, scapegoating Frank Reich as the guy that is the problem. Now firing Frank Reich, firing Josh McCown as their QB coach, firing, I believe, their running backs coach, thinking that is going to solve the problem. Just overall operations within the organization make them the newest dumpster fire franchise in the NFL. But wait, Carolina Panthers fans, don't worry. I know what you're saying. I know you want to attack me, but guess what? The Houston Texans were where you were at one point, and they were able to get themselves out of it. So it's not impossible. But for your franchise, it is. Welcome to the league, you Carolina dumpster fire Panthers. Welcome to the show, because as long as you keep this little clown show up, that dumpster fire monocle is staying around. Moving on into the New York Jets. You had them as bad. It was downright ugly. I don't know how the New York Jets manage to find a way to embarrass themselves week in and week out. Another week, there's an embarrassment. Another week, this happens. I mean, are you kidding me? With the Fail Mary. Tim Boyle is one of the statistically worst quarterbacks to ever grace a football field at any level, high school, college, and professional. You don't believe me? Look it up. Tim Boyle is a horrible quarterback. And this man allows a 99-yard interception return right before halftime after the defense went out and stopped the Dolphins offense from getting any points before half. Garbage. The Jets just find new ways to beat themselves. That's basically what it comes down to. They absolutely do nothing on offense. They're just a very bad team. I mean, no matter who you throw out there at quarterback, doesn't matter if it's the first string, the second string, the third string, the fourth string, the guy from the parking lot, the guy who accepts tickets, the guy behind the concession stands, it doesn't matter. The team is just not very good. And for whatever reason, we're waiting on Aaron Rodgers thinking that he's going to turn this whole ship around. We'll see what happens there. But with that being said, I would now like to introduce everybody to the new awful New York Jets. Yeah, the Jets are just downright awful. So that's what we're going to refer to them as until they decide to change our minds, because from what I've seen, it's just pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. And lastly, this has nothing to do with any NFL team. The officiating this season has been atrocious, has been horrible, horrendous. Any synonym that you can think of that would go along matching those words, use it, because that's how bad the officiating has been. The problem is that it's affecting the product on the field at this point with some of these missed calls. You know, Josh Allen basically having his jersey ripped off of him for a horse collar tackle right in front of the ref. Ref doesn't call anything, lets the Eagles slide. We go to the Broncos game where DTR throws a pass, gets blasted, gets injured, no call. Then we go to and then some people are arguing that, well, why are we going to reward somebody who runs 10 yards backwards with no plan at all and then throws the ball to throw it ball away, right? I completely hear you, and that's completely reasonable. The man gets injured. The man gets injured because the cornerback, the defensive player, is launching himself in right below the quarterback's chin. Go back and watch the play. It's definitely a questionable hit. Jumping upwards. I get the quarterback's jumping. That's a perfect target to just hit him in the chest, but I don't know why you have to lunge. So we'll see what happens there. And then the obvious hold in the Steelers and Bengals game that for whatever reason the flag was picked up, allowing the touchdown to stand, which was a massive turning point in that game. So the officiating has just been horrible. It's just been horrible. And here's the problem, because the problem is this. And it's Brandon's coined phrase. The NFL officiating is the most consistently inconsistent thing that the NFL has to offer. Every single week, I have never in my life been challenged on my knowledge of the game because of I apparently don't know what a foul is or I don't know what a flag is. It changes week in and week out. 1 week they call it, the next week they don't. 1 week they call it, the next week they don't. They let other teams slide, they don't let this team slide. It's affecting the product on the field. And the problem is that there is zero accountability for referees across the board in all professional sports. Zero accountability for these guys. I don't need to see player post-game conferences. I want to see referee post-game conferences. I want to see what's going through their mind as they decide to make the game-altering call and explain it to us. Don't give us a last 2-minute report. I'm jumping over to the NBA. Don't give us a last 2-minute report basically confirming that, yeah, we know you missed 1,000 calls that cost one of the teams a game. We don't care about that. Fix it in the moment. There should be suspensions. There should be fines. The NFL has the audacity to fine these players ridiculous amounts for the stupidest things. For literally the stupidest things. I don't know if people have been following the fines this season, but Josh Jacobs, I think, has lost well over $150,000 in fines because every single week they're dishing out a fine because of how he is running into somebody or somebody's blocking somebody too hard. It's ridiculous. The NFL is legally robbing these guys of their own money, and there's no accountability for the refs. It's affecting the product. It's affecting my ability to watch the games and keep my sanity. I'm okay with my team losing, but just stay out of the way, refs. I don't need you getting in my way. So NFL officiating needs to get a hard, deep look this offseason because, something needs to change. I'm Jacob Cutler. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. There will be pamphlets on your way out. If you want any more information, I'll definitely be available, okay? But man, oh man, something needs to be done. Whoo! That's going to do it for this edition of The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. Man, oh man, I was able to air out that grievance. It's getting annoying. Fix it. Brandon, any last words for the people?
Just got a big week coming up, so biggest week so far. I've had this one circled on my calendar, so I'm ready.
I'm ready too at this point. Big game, a big matchup. We'll see what happens there. We're done with week 12. Thank God. We're on to week 13. 5 more weeks of the NFL as we leave here today. Enjoy the current playoff picture for both divisions, the AFC and the NFC. And man, oh man, is that race is heating up. We got 5 weeks left. We're getting into it. He is one of my best friends, Brandon Sullivan. I am Jacob Cutler, and together we make up the sports, guys. And until our picks episode, Brandon and Jake, we're out.